Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I've previously made videos on Alberta, on Saskatchewan, on Prince Edward Island by the titles Phadde. Phadde means problems, and in this video I'm going to talk about OINP problems. Rather the disadvantages, some of the disadvantages that people face. Now know this, that OINP is my favorite PNP program, and in no way I'm demotivating you against OINP. Rather, I'm trying to give you the exact information so that you don't repeat and you know beforehand what's coming your way and you prepare yourself. So the first thing is, OINP is the most expensive PNP program. Okay, and they charge you $1,500 if you want to go through the OINP pathway. And I'm talking particularly about Human Capital Priority Stream, okay, HCP, including the tech draws, including the journal draws. Okay, so it is the most expensive PNP programs. Comparing it with SINP, which is the second best PNP program, right, for Outlanders, they only charge you $350, I believe. Okay, now where is $350 and where is $1,500? So it is the most expensive PNP program. Secondly, for federal skilled worker, for the people who are in the express entry pool as a federal skilled worker, not Canadian experience class, OINP only selects their primary knock code. So if you have multiple work experiences, but you mentioned some other experience as your primary knock code in your express entry profile, then OINP will only look at your primary knock code. They will not consider whatever other occupations that you have, and many people don't know about it, and they make the mistake, like maybe let's say 0601 is in demand for OINP, 2173 is in demand for OINP. There are many knocks. Now you have experience in these knock codes, but you did not declare it as your primary knock code in your express entry profile. Then you will not receive an NOI. If you're an FSW, if you're CEC, then primary knock code is not a requirement, but for FSW it is a requirement. So make sure you check your express entry profile whether your primary knock code is aligned with the OINP in demand occupations or not. And the way to check it is probably it's on the first page of your express entry profile page, probably the first page. You'll see primary knock code over there. Third problem, third phada with the OINP HCP is that your experience needs to be within the recent 5 years. Unlike Saskatchewan selects your experience within recent 10 years. FSW, express entry, they consider your experience within recent 10 years. But for OINP, the experience has to be within the recent 5 years when you're making the application. Okay. At that time, your application needs to be in the fresh years of the decade. Okay, that's the number 3 problem. Number 4 problem is that there are 7 educational credential assessment ECA bodies. All of these 7 are acceptable by OINP, but if you've received an ECA from CES, Comparative Education Service, or WES, World Education Service, or MCC, Medical Council of Canada, then you need to go through an extra step for OINP after you receive your notification of interest and you're applying to OINP for nomination. You have to ask one of these 3 ECA bodies, not applicable to ICAS, ICES, ICAS with a C, not applicable to that, not even PEBC. But for WES, CES and MCC, if you have gone through their ECA, you have to ask them to share the ECA report with OINP. If you don't do that extra step, your application will be returned to you. So this is another phada with OINP. Okay, now the fifth phada is that CRS is very high. If you are somebody with less than 400, forget about OINP HCP. Yes, if you are less than 400, you have a valid chance for SINP still, right? Because SINP has a different point system, but for OINP, the point system is same as CRS points. So if you are an oldie like me and your CRS is, let's say, 430, 440, then the chances of selection for Oinp HCP is next to none, right? And The lowest score in the recent 2-3 years was 458, 457 probably. Okay, so this was the lowest score. And imagine if you are below 457 or 458, then where are your chances for OINP? So this is a high scoring PNP program, unlike Saskatchewan, where people with 290 can score 70 points, right? Depending on many factors. So OINP is a high scoring CRS PNP program. As you know that Alberta, on their website, they say that above 300 CRS people were selected. Well, they don't select that, but I mean, this is the requirement usually mentioned on their draws. So OINP is a high CRS scoring a PNP program. Next, PADA, number 6. You have to apply rather quickly than the other PNP programs. For example, for Saskatchewan, you get 60 days to apply, to submit your application. You get a lot of time to go through all your documents, double check, check them 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, right? But for OINP, you receive a notification of interest, you have to submit your application within 45 days. So it is 15 days less than SINP, okay? So this is PADA number 6. Number 7 PADA, knock codes that Oinp HCP invites. The knock code list is short, okay? For example, for the tech knock codes, the list is about 6 knock codes, okay? And for journal knock codes, for the journal draw, even that list is not very massive, okay? Maybe 20, 25, 30 knock codes at maximum. So Oinp HCP targets very specific list of occupations, and they don't usually change those knock codes. They are very particular about these knock codes, okay? So this is PADA number 7, that knock codes, I mean, the selection has to be from within those knock codes, and the list is quite small. Number 8 point is, again, comparing it with Alberta and Saskatchewan, because mainly these 3 programs are the ones that do not require a connection. Saskatchewan, they give you points for your uncle, aunts and cousins. Alberta, they give you a priority if you have a relative inside Alberta. But Ontario doesn't give you any extra points for these relatives. They give you points for blood relatives like father, mother, son, daughter, but not for the uncle, aunts and cousins. So these were the 8 per day of OINP, Human Capital Priority Stream. And I have a couple of more videos on OINP, and there is a complete playlist as well. So if you're interested in knowing more about Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program, then I suggest you go through that playlist, because this is, I mean, the best PNP program that does not require a job offer, that does not require a Canadian experience, that does not require any connection within that province or within Canada. So like just that you have a high human capital score, a high CRS score, chances are that you'll get selected. With these words, this is Ali Iftikhar, and I'm hoping great things are coming your way.